Charmaine, and my guest today is one of the 7 new cast members to join Lifetime's hit reality show, Preacher's Daughters. And she's here today to talk about the new season, so I want you to help me welcome Miss KAYLA Wilde. Hey, KAYLA, welcome.
Hi, thank you.
Now, KAYLA, I know you're one of the brand new cast members of Preacher's Daughters. Now, what was it like for you to join this whole new cast, knowing, now, first, let me set the record straight. Did you watch the shows before, the previous seasons? Did you watch them before?
Yeah, I had actually seen like every episode of the previous season, but they did tell me that they were going in a new direction. So, I mean, it's basically a completely new thing.
Because that's what I wanted to know, if you didn't watch it before. So since they were going into a new direction, did you have any idea that you were going to be in a house with several other girls and Cabo San Lucas doing a missions trip, but yet still learning about other girls and learning about yourself too?
Yeah, I mean, they had told us before that we were all going to be living together and doing mission work in Cabo. But then again, I think when you have an idea of something, it usually turns out very differently than what you were expecting. So I kind of went in with, like this whole picture in my head, and then it just was, very different.
Now, why did you even decide to audition for the show? What was it about the show that you liked so much that made you want to apply for the show?
Well, I've been a big fan of the show for the past 2 seasons, and then I really did like the idea that they were doing a mission trip this time. And I was a fan of the cast members, so I was hoping I'd get to, meet the girls from the previous seasons and kind of be a part of this experience. And so I thought it sounded really cool when the opportunity presented itself, so I just kind of went with it.
So with you being on the show, because if those who are not watching the show, you see KAYLA and Lolly, you see huge personality differences. What was it about Lolly and you that was like oil and water?
Well, that's exactly it. We're oil and water. We're just different in every single way. So, of course, we're going to clash. I mean, I don't know. I don't think I got a very good vibe from her. I kind of went from there, and I might have taken it a little too far. But, I mean, we just kind of both pushed each other's buttons, to be honest.
And audience, if you want to know when she says taking it too far, now you tried to get Lolly out of the house and it kind of backfired. Were you surprised that the other girls ended up kind of turning on you and going to Lolly's side and telling Lolly what your plans were?
Yeah, I was actually very, very, very surprised because, to be honest, I thought we were all on the same page, but it turns out we obviously weren't. So, yeah, I mean, I was expecting the girls to kind of go along, with me. And then to, hear that they obviously did it and then they ended up kind of telling her, I was shocked. I mean, I just was not expecting that.
But you did do something that I thought was very special. You opened up on the show about your drug overdose on the show and different things that happened to you. Why did you feel at that moment you needed to open up and tell the girls something so personal about you?
I think that was a really great moment for all of us. We were all kind of sharing our stories, and at that point, we all kind of felt really comfortable with each other. We had been living with each other, so, I was kind of starting to see those girls as my sisters, and so I wasn't really afraid of, judgment by them, so I just kind of felt comfortable enough to, share my story and where I've been and know that they weren't going to judge me and criticize me, so it just felt like the right time, I guess.
Okay. Now, what were some of the things that you learned about yourself on the show? Because I know everyone is watching the show, and I know when the cameras are there and you get used to the cameras being there, you don't get a chance to see yourself. So now that you're in our seats, watching with us every Friday, what is it that you're learning about yourself?
I think by far the biggest thing that I have learned from watching myself is that, to be honest, I didn't give Lolly a chance. I really didn't. I kind of got a first impression of her, and then I stuck to that, and I never really allowed her to, show any other side of herself to me. So looking back now, I think I was really close-minded about her, and I really do regret that, and I regret kind of, not giving her a chance and kind of just sticking with what I first thought of her and, just going with that the whole time. So that's what I've learned, is to be more open to people and letting them, show themselves more.
Do you stay in contact with some of the girls on the show?
Yeah, I'm actually in a group text with all of the girls, excluding Lolly, but we talk daily in that group text. I mean, we talk about everything. And then Megan and I are actually planning on seeing each other again this summer. And then I'm seeing Sarah and Christiana in April. So we're all still really, really close.
That's good. Now, I know you're a preacher's daughter. Is your father a pastor, or your mother's a minister? Who's a minister in your family?
My mom's an evangelist.
Oh, wonderful. So
my dad's actually an atheist. So my mom's the preacher of the family.
Okay. So what was it like for you growing up as a preacher's daughter?
I mean, it has its challenges, but it also has, some benefits to it. I mean, I was instilled with a lot of really good morals and kind of growing up and, being able to pray when you're scared and talk to God. I think that really, helped me when I was growing up. But then again, it does have its disadvantages because you do have the spotlight on you. People, you're like a reflection of your parents. So if you're doing bad, people, think badly of your parents. And so there's a lot more pressure there. So it has its good sides and its bad sides.
So, because I wanted to ask that question, what was it like for you? Because what caused you to kind of stray away? Because I know you were in a sorority and like you said, you had the drug overdose. What caused you to kind of stray away from what you knew growing up to start wanting to even do drugs?
I think it's just kind of the independence that I found in college and kind of not being forced to go to church anymore and not being forced to pray. So it's kind of like I took that freedom and I ran with it. And I might have, ran a little too far with it. But it's kind of like when you're, kind of taught one thing your whole life, when you get the chance to learn about other things, you kind of open up to other things. So that's what I did. And, I obviously opened myself up to negative things like drugs too. But, I'm just learning and I'm a kid. I'm going to make mistakes, but I'm just trying to figure it all out for myself and not just, what my parents believe.
That's very good. Well, I want to thank you so much, Kayla, for coming on the show. And I want to remind the audience to make sure that you tune into Preacher's Daughters this Friday on Lifetime. We're going to see how everything unfolds and what's going on with Miss Lolly. And thank you so much, Kayla, for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're so welcome and have a blessed day.
You too.
Lady Charmaine live on Friday night.